Welcome to Common Sense Rhode Island. This is a program where we try to make sense out of the policies that affect your life and come up with common sense solutions. I'm Representative Patricia Morgan, and we have with us as our guest today Representative Mike Chippendale, who represents Foster, Gloucester, and part of Coventry.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Yep, and he's been in the House with me for this
3 terms.
3 terms.
Yeah.
So he knows what's going on. And one of the things that you have also done is you've been on 2 oversight committees.
Yes, I have.
And the purpose of both of those was to study 38 studios.
That's how it was given to us. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
how it was given to you. That's right. So the first one was when Speaker Fox was there, Gordon
Yes.
Fox. He made Mike Marcello the chairman of the Oversight Committee, and you were a member.
I was.
Tell us how that went.
Yeah, from the beginning, it was very clear that it was extremely choreographed and orchestrated. I don't fault
How do you mean?
Representative Marcello for that, but his leash was really short. The speaker at that time would not let him get documents that we needed or that we felt we needed, and the process felt like a dog and pony show from the beginning. And
So you mean you wanted to ask for documents, but the speaker wouldn't allow you to get them?
Right, there was
or
a
even
document.
to ask for them?
Well, I can't tell you exactly what happened, but I can tell you that there was a document request made to EDC, and we got certain emails and documents from them. But later, when the court documents were revealed and we saw all this stuff from EDC, we realized they hadn't given us everything. Now, whether or not it went through the speaker's office and he filtered out the things that he thought were not ready for consumption, I can't say. Or whether or not EDC just didn't provide them, that I don't know. Either way, we weren't working with all the information. It was...
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
It was just, it was a swim upstream the entire time. And thankfully, that was only a short amount of time that we had that set up in oversight.
All right, so you requested documents. You only got partial documents. They could have been, EDC might not have provided them, or the speaker's office may have
filtered them out.
Filtered them out.
And I can tell you, if we had everything then that we have now, we certainly could have made more of an impact, I think, on the overall process, but there was a lot of absent information that didn't allow us to put the whole thing together.
But I think you just brought up one of the real problems in the House is that even when you have a committee, it really is tightly controlled
Yes.
by the speaker,
Yes.
by leadership. So you're only allowed to go as far as the speaker wants you to go.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so that's a real issue, because I know you were really trying to dig, and
We did.
other people
Yeah.
outside were trying to give you information. You tried to
Yes.
follow up on it, but you weren't allowed even to introduce it then to the committee.
Right, when Nick Mattiello took over as speaker, and he appointed Karen McBeth to be the chairman, I was the vice chair. We got a lot of people reaching out to us,
Yeah.
just out of the blue, saying, hey, finally they put some people we can trust in charge, so here's stuff. And when I say stuff, I mean
They gave you real documentation.
someone who worked at 38 Studios from the very beginning of that company and is still very close with Schilling handed us a disc with so much, every invoice, every work order, every job order that 38 Studios ever had, and proof of all of the stuff that happened. We got contractors and subcontractors coming to us telling us this is how it was operated in the background. So yeah, a lot of people came out of the woodwork because they felt that they could trust the new makeup of the Oversight Committee. So we did get a lot of good information, which of course we immediately offered up to the Rhode Island State Police and the FBI. And everything we ever got immediately went
to them.
Yes, and as chairman, Rep. McBeth at the time, to avoid having anybody filter out emails or documents from requests, she submitted those requests through the speaker's office, which she had to do, but she also sent the APRA request directly to the entity, asking for them to send it via registered mail to her directly, so that we would know if anything was skimmed out.
Oh, okay.
And so that way, we did get a lot more information, a lot more documentation through that
Good.
methodology.
I think I recall that it was from your committee that we found out about the sound sound system?
Yeah.
It was actually your committee that kicked that up into the public realm.
That was one of the subcontractors that came out, reached out of the blue, didn't know us, took a real leap of faith that we wouldn't, do anything crazy with the information he gave us. But he came on Buddy's CNC show with me and everything, provided documentation that indeed they did install a $25,000 sound system in Taza Cafe, which was owned by Michael Corso, a close confidant of Gordon Fox, who is the kingpin of the entire 38 Studios debacle, Michael Corso. And so we did uncover, and we did have a witness, a person who was perfectly willing to provide all the documentation, which the state police did validate, by the way, the documents he provided as being legitimate and
this
real.
was a guy who was just personally offended
Absolutely.
that taxpayers were made to pay for a private company's
Yes.
sound system.
And he just
and a
felt,
pretty nice sound system.
yeah, for $25,000, I hope it sounded really nice, but he was uncomfortable with what his company was making him do.
Yeah.
And when he voiced that, he got sort of edged out of that company by the owners, who were working as subcontractors to Napa, and he just got out of the business.
So Napa is the company that Corso owned.
No,
Michael
no,
Corso
he owned the
owned.
Taza Cafe, which is where they put the $25,000 sound system in. Napa Construction, Steve Napa, I believe his first name is Steve, owned that, and he was a close friend of Michael Corso's.
Oh, okay.
So he got the
So he
general
just added that as a
contracting
nice
work.
gift for his buddy.
Yes, it appears from everything that we received that when a job was given to a contractor or a subcontractor, they were never asked to bid it. They would just say, okay, you're going to do all of the tile work. Michael Corso, through contract, which we have a copy of, got paid 9.5% of every dollar that went out of 38 Studios to pay for that.
9.5% of every dollar
That
he
was
got
one of the 4 contracts he
for
had.
being,
A middleman. We actually have an EDC email from a very high-ranking...
and he just gave it out to his friends.
He did, and he didn't ask them to bid. They
Make
could
sure
come
that
in
it
with
was the
whatever
best
price.
bid, yeah.
While we were never able to prove it, the independent contractor who did give us that documentation stated that the contractors were also kicking up. So in addition to 38 Studios giving him 9.5% for every dollar spent, the contractors who got the bids were kicking him 10% for every dollar they got in work. That's unsubstantiated by documentation. If I were
So that
an
was,
attorney general or a state policeman, I
couldn't
may have
work
been able to
with that.
uncover that, but I wasn't able to as a legislator on the oversight committee.
and we don't know that if the state police
Don't know.
validated it
Well,
or not, because they
Correct.
haven't revealed
Correct. I
their.
know that they were given all the information we were relative to that whole scheme, if you will, of the contract and the 9.5% going both ways. Whether or not they investigated thoroughly, I don't know. I can't say because none of it's been released.
None of it has been revealed to
regrettably.
folks. Regrettably,
Yeah.
I think we deserve to know.
Well, I
It's
mean-
our money that was used.
Absolutely. If you look at just recent events, the town or the city of Cranston had an issue where the state police performed an investigation, and as soon as they were done, they released a full document on a full report on their investigation into the police department in Cranston. So why can't the state police
Sure.
release their information on this investigation to us, the oversight committee, at a minimum, if not to the public? So that's a question that I will continue to ask, because it doesn't, there is precedent for them releasing information like this. They're just choosing not to.
I think that's a very good question to ask, and I imagine our viewers do too. So we're going to take a break right now and let them ponder that, and we'll be right back.